What is the most physical pain you've ever been in? I fell on some jagged ice and split my head open. I had 52 stitches put in, from ear to ear, straight across my forehead. Old school big black cloth stitches. I looked like the Frankenstein monster's younger fatter brother. Kidney stones. First and only time I ever puked from pain. I had almost instant relief after having them blasted. I honestly think my kidney stones were worse than my contractions during labor, and I was in labor over 48 hours. Stood on a metal puzzle piece. It had two thin pieces of metal pointing upward. One penetrated about an inch in my foot and the other half a centimeter. Went to the doctor straight after. Couldn't walk on my foot for a few days. My first wreck 1. Split my forehead on the windshield 2. Broke my arm on the A-pillar 3. Broke my wrist on the steering wheel 4. Basically powderized my kneecap on the steering wheel all within a minute because I got T-boned, jumped a guardrail, then rolled down a short cliff. I got cocky and attempted to do a backflip at a trampoline park. Landed upside down on my neck. I couldn't walk a single step for 3 weeks without excruciating pain in my back. Trying to walk anywhere would literally take my breath away. I kept gasping, but trying not to under my breath. It was really bad. I knew something had happened, but I was afraid to tell my parents and go to the doctor, so I stupidly just hoped the pain would go away. Luckily it did, and now it feels like it never happened. But back injuries are no joke. Get it checked out. It cold ended up much worse. Bronchitis. Nothing that I know of caused it, but it was incredibly awkward when the teacher asks mid-wheebulous, "Are you okay?" Wheezing and signs that I'm not okay. Yeah, I'm fine. After my second ingrown toenail surgery, I thought my toe was going to stay numb this time. Nope. I was at my friend's house, and she stepped on my toe. That freaking hurt. If someone were to see it happen, they wouldn't been able to see me in pain. I just walked it off. That's the worst physical pain I've ever had. I've never had any broken bones so. Smashed my leg, slightly above my knee, into a concrete driveway. My skin split open right down to the bone, so I had a massive, gaping wedge in my leg, right down to the bone. Had to get 60+ stitches to fix it back up. When I was 12 I was playing backyard football with some friends, and one of them tackled me to the ground and broke my collarbone. It was the first week of the summer. I spent most of that summer playing Xbox and doing physical therapy in the pool. The combination of the actual break and the loneliness are pretty potent painfully, but thankfully it's long behind me. I've broken several bones, torn muscles, and have had hernias, yet the most physical pain I've ever been in is when the love of my life told me she saw no future with me and she no longer had feelings for me. The pain broke me, and my body literally didn't know how to react. All I could do was clench my chest and collapse. I could barely breathe. Emotions are weird. I have disabilities, including one that makes my bones partially dislocate on occasion, but the worst pain I've ever had was a kidney infection. I collapsed on the floor from pain. Other worst pain was a bladder infection, not a UTI, I mean a full bladder infection. I was sat in a bath for 4 hours screaming and crying because of that one. I've heard other people say they had those, and they didn't hurt that bad, so I think I must just be really cursed, because they were both agony. This actually happened to my toe. I was playing basketball with some friends and my footing was off. To best describe what happened, cut a small rubber band in half and grab both ends and push them towards each other until you get a bend in the middle. It was excruciating pain, and whenever I took a step with that foot, a sharp pain will shoot up from my toe to my leg, making it impossible to take more than one step. Went to the doctor and had an x-ray taken. They didn't find anything out of place or broken and told me to give it time as it's swollen and not walk. Over time, it got much better, but I still actually feel that pain sometimes, nowhere near as before, and my toe feels about 50% numb. This occurred almost 4 years ago. I broke 3 of my ribs coughing because of bronchitis. I proceeded to re-break them and or separate them multiple times over the course of a month. The pain was so great no painkiller could numb the pain. The painkillers made me nauseous and made me throw up, further disrupting my broken ribs. Imagine dry heaving with broken ribs. 10 would not cough again. Touched a cigarette lighter, 3rd degree burn. My finger was numb, but my hand and up to my elbow Felt like they were on fire, and my other hand hurt as well. Learned what excruciating means, and also got a lesson in nerve pain. Also the stupidest thing I've ever done. Ended up being fine though. It healed quickly, and I peeled a 1/4 inch callus off the tip of my finger and didn't tell anyone. Was it one of those butane lighters that you can't see the flame very well while it's lit? It was a car cigarette lighter. They still make those? My car has one, but I don't think I've seen one elsewhere. Having a catheter in me. Wouldn't wish that pain on my worst enemy. Well, I'm abutic now. It's dreadful. Getting the wind knocked out of me after breaking my elbow and falling at 20 miles per hour speeds. The night after a jalapeno eating contest. On the toilet for 5 hours. I even passed out at one point. When I was 5, I went on a family trip to Hawaii and managed to get stung by a man-hour jellyfish that washed up on the beach. Broke my tibia into 4 pieces when I hit a deer on my motorcycle. Luckily the bike was okay because mine took the full impact lol. You'll ever just fall through the roof of a 20-foot ceiling in your own house. Now I'm a rookie, was only about 10 feet, hit a beam on my way through though. Dry socket from wisdom teeth removal. Having the holes packed with gauze without any kind of anesthetic. I stepped on an old fence nail and basically nailed my shoe to my foot. I had to stand on the shoe with my other foot to pry the nail out. My epididymis inflamed, and the pain was so high that I can't even feel it, and when I took painkillers the pain got higher. Running around in the house, slipped on the polished floor and my hip hit the corner of the kitchen marble edge. I couldn't speak anything for some time. Wrecked my dirt bike as a kid, and was trapped under it as the muffler burned through my pants, and down through my skin to the bone. The scar has rings in it from the muffler pattern. I put my hand on a hot stove 100 degrees Celsius plus, and had to go to the hospital with 3-degree burns all over my hand. Was about 6 at the time. I peeled those hangnails you get on 2 of my fingers and regret it a lot. Natural childbirth. Delivered a 9 pounds 8 ounce baby. No meds. I once fractured a vertebrae. That was the most unbearable physical pain I've ever been in. Breaking my foot by rolling it hurt worse than cutting my eye open. Kidney stone. I'm a male. Next time hand me a gun. Falling down from an old bench and tearing apart the flesh on my shin on a rusty nail. Turning my feet backward and lesionating my ankle. Broke my leg on New Year's. That was a treat. When I was 8 I fell out of a tree and landed on my arm. I have broken my elbow when I was 4. Stubbing my bare toe on a wooden chair. Having my leg run over by a car.